What's up guys, I'm Akila. Welcome to my channel. In today's video I wanted to show you guys my drugstore foundation routine. Every product in this video is products that I love and of course affordable since it's from the drugstore. So if you want to see how I achieved this flawless looking skin except for this, please keep on watching. Okay guys, let's get started. I already put on moisturizer, so now I'm ready to prime. For primer, I'm going to use the e.l.f. Poreless Putty primer. This is like the most talked about primer right now, and it's only $8. If you haven't heard about this primer, I have a review on it, so I'll link it up in the cards for you. Now here's an extra step. If you have oily skin, like you could take your setting powder. This one's by Maybelline. I think this is like $5 at Walmart. Yeah, so you could take your setting powder and set your primer. Ever since I started doing this, I've noticed how much less oily I get, so I do recommend this technique. I've seen Jackie Aina do it, so that's what made me try it. So pretty much you just put it in places that you get oily. You don't have to put it all over your face. Now I'm going to color correct. And to do that, I'm going to use the e.l.f. 16-hour Camo concealer. This is new too, and this is only $5, and it's a full coverage matte concealer. I also have a review on this if you want to see more details about it. Yeah, and this is in the color Deep Chestnut. This shade's a little bit darker than me, and it has more of a pinky undertone, so it cancels out any darkness that I have on my face. And I'm going to add this to the places where I have serious acne spots. I'm not going to do all of them. I'm just going to do the ones that stick out to me the most. Like this little face demon right here. It popped up right before my birthday. And I also have darkness around my mouth, so I'll put it there too. Oh my god, I look so ashy. But it's a process. We're gonna blend this out. You don't really want to let this sit for too long because it will dry on you. It dries really fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. A trick to have more coverage when it comes to like blending out your concealer is to use a brush. Brushes don't pick up as much of the product as a sponge will, so I found that brushes really work better. See how like you can barely see that spot anymore? I like that. Okay, I'm done with color correcting. So next we can do foundation. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless is my favorite drugstore foundation and almost all around favorite foundation. But I recently picked up the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation and I love it. I love it a lot. It's a really good foundation for oily skin. If you haven't already and you have oily skin, give this a try. I'm gonna pump like 3 on the back of my hand. Dang, do I need 3? Okay, I'm gonna just do 3. I'm gonna use my Morphe M439 brush. This foundation is in the color Nutmeg. I know it looks a little crazy right now, but I really love this shade on me. And I love the amount of coverage. Look at that, like, it's really good. And I still have a little bit left. I didn't really need the 3 pumps, but I'm gonna go ahead and take what's left and go over any spots that I feel needs a little more coverage, like right here, my nose. Now we can move on to highlighting. For me, I like to highlight before I contour. I'm not sure if most people have a preference, but that's just the way I like to do it. I'm going to use another shade of the 16-hour Camo concealer, and this is in the shade Deep Olive. It's very, very yellow. It's very yellow. They should have just called it Deep Golden or something, because this is yellow. But here's what it looks like. I'm not going to put on any on my forehead right now because it dries too fast. I'm going to go ahead and blend this out now. And to blend out my concealer under my eyes and stuff, I do love to use my sponge. I just feel like you get a perfect blend when you use a sponge. To even out the yellowness of that concealer, I'm going to use another concealer, and this one is the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear, and this is in the shade 410 Almond. I haven't really used this concealer before, so hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. Yeah, that has more of like a pinky undertone. It might be neutral. It smells like perfume. I like it, but I know a lot of people don't like fragrances in their makeup, so if you're one of those people, keep that in mind. And this concealer is like $10. You could find it at Walmart. Yeah, it adds like some more brightness to my look. I really like that color. I know it looks kind of crazy on camera, but in person it looks really good. I like that. That's nice. That looks good. Like, it looks like I'm glowing. I really like that. Now I feel like I'm gonna mess it up a little bit with this setting powder because I need a lighter shade. Okay, so now I'm gonna look and see if I got any creases and try to blend that out before I set it. Okay, now I'm gonna set. Yeah, like this setting powder is like my skin tone. Okay, now I'm gonna do the other side. I also go over my eyes too to set the concealer. Even though I have oily skin, I don't bake. Now I feel like it makes me look dry, so I'm going to go ahead and kick off the powder. I also like to take the excess powder and just blend that into the rest of my face. I actually think that looks pretty good. I'm not mad at it. Okay, now we're gonna move on to contouring. At first I used to just powder contour, but I really like the way cream contouring look. I'm gonna be using the ColourPop No Filter Foundation Sticks, and this is in the shade Deep Dark 197W. I go ahead and put it in the places that I like to contour. A little goes a long way. Don't go heavy with this. This is like, I think $8 to $10. I'm not too sure. Yeah, I know ColourPop isn't really a drugstore brand, but they have drugstore prices, and you can find them at Ulta, but I don't believe Ulta carries the stick foundation yet. So yeah guys, I even like to use it as a foundation. For foundation, I use the color Dark 165N, and that's like my perfect match. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and buff that out. For cream products, I feel like it works best when you use a brush, so do try to blend it with a brush. And whatever looks harsh to you, you could just take your sponge that you use to do your concealer or your foundation and just go over it again, and it will blend it out and also like turn it down just a little bit. Usually I use the stick to contour my nose, but I'm going to use the regular concealer, and this is in the shade Deep 70, and I'm going to use this to contour my nose. I just like put a stripe at the top, like from my eyebrow down. And where's my brush? The brush is the Morphe R33 brush. It's a pointed dome brush. So yeah, I just take the point and just like drag down the color. It's like so precise, and it really gets the job done. Yeah, I think I'm going to use the regular liquid concealer for now on compared to using the stick, because I have a lot more control. And like I said before, if it looks too harsh, you could take your sponge and try to lighten it up and tone it down a little bit. And now to set my contour, I love the Black Radiance contour palette. This is in medium to dark, and I use this shade right here, Scope. And you could also take that powder to set your nose contour. e.l.f. also makes setting sprays as well. I think it's like $4 to $5. I don't know where mine is at the moment, so I'm going to use this is the continuous setting mist, and this is like $10. And you can find that at Ulta. And like after I put on like my setting spray, I don't feel like I put on enough. Hold on. After I put on my setting spray to like help it dry faster and evenly, I just take my sponge and pat it in. So yeah guys, that is my drugstore foundation routine. All the products that I use is products that I love, except for the Loreal one. This is like my first time using this and I really liked it. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching and I'll see you next time.